Alright, Doc. It's bigger now. What do you think? I think it's missing some blue. What's going on, guys? Republic Cinema here, and today we're going to be taking a look at this Baiwei knockoff of the Transformers Studio Series 44 Jetwing Optimus Prime. Now, this review is kind of going to be a 3-in-1, as the trailer, this figure right here, and a weapons accessory pack all came in separate. However, I am aware that there is a bundle where you can get all of this all together. However, the difference is you're missing 2 of the 4 swords that this figure originally comes with, and that Optimus Prime is the one with the clear plastic neck piece. Trust me, you don't want to get that version. That version breaks too often. So starting off with this Baiwei knockoff of the Studio Series 32/44 Optimus Prime, the painting and sculpting, pretty good. A few paint apps, like the blue and red, are a little bit darker than the original, as well as bits and pieces of gray being darker than the original, along with the windows being clear plastic. And unfortunately, there's no repaint of the Baiwei knockoff that has some orange shades like the original. And of course, the figure also comes with die-cast metal feet. And of course, you could also move this red piece down, which is something you couldn't unfortunately do in the 32 Optimus mold. We'll get into more info on this guy with accessories, but for now, let's talk about his trailer. So his trailer, it requires some zooming out. So his trailer is a little oversized, but not as oversized as I thought, unlike the Studio Series Grimlock. But here he is next to the original. You could see the difference. Now, the painting and sculpting, well, the sculpting is based off the Studio Series one, of course, but the paint is a little questionable. As on the outer shells, there is, of course, some silver. The plastic on the interior, however, is left unpainted. Oh, and on the bottom there is this updated panel over here, which was not present in the original, but it's nothing bad. Moving on to accessories, there is much to talk about, as this guy does come packing with accessories. Starting off with the alternate chest piece, which is split in half to make the alternate chest mode look more accurate, I suppose. And here's what Optimus Prime looks like with the alternate chest. And if the alternate chest piece wasn't enough, he also comes with an alternate face piece as well. Anyways, here's what Optimus Prime looks like with the alternate mouth piece, to which I am quite impressed that Baiwei was able to pull off such a nice head sculpt. However, if the new Age of Extinction Leader Class Optimus Prime is going to be the evasion mode version, I wonder if they're going to make the mouthpiece for that one. Moving on to the sword department, he does come with swords that he can hold with his hand, to which he can have them posed like this. And of course, the other pair of swords are the ones that he holds on the side of his wrist, to which you can have him posed around like this. Now, we're not done, as there's also some more accessories that came in an extra accessory pack that you can find on AliExpress. And that accessory pack had a lot of accessories. So starting off with the hooks. Now, I gotta say, the hooks look nice. But anyways, you could have the hook stored like this, or you can bring in the other hook and have the tab on the top of the hand, so that way it's like this. To my knowledge, I believe the hooks facing downwards are a little bit more accurate than the hooks facing upwards. He also comes with this axe, which looks similar to the Batman logo. Plug it in, and there you go. There's Optimus Prime with his axe. There is also this big shield, which is bigger than the original shield. Now, unlike the original shield, this one comes with a handle that flips out and simply tabs onto the hand. And here you have Optimus Prime holding his shield like any normal person would hold a shield. The trailer set comes with an extra shield, which is pretty nice. And thankfully, my copy has the one that has the proper handle for the shield. At one point, Baiwei had one where it was just this regular hole sticking out, but thankfully Baiwei changed it to the proper version. And then back to the axe, Prime does come with a second axe, only the axe is longer than the original. Unlike the other one he comes with, you have to untab this little thing right here, so that way it could plug in properly, and then plug in that tiny tip back in. And there's Optimus Prime with a proper shield. Prime also comes with a nice bigger gun. I believe this gun is known as the Striker gun. I hope this thing is in the new Studio Series Age of Extinction Prime, whether be it night or evasion mode, because both versions had this gun. And then he also comes with a pair of knuckle dusters, I believe is what you call it. These are the things that he used to chop out a portion of Shockwave's belly. These things don't stay in too well. And then last but not least, Optimus Prime does come with the smaller guns, to which both are their own separate molds and not the same one, unlike the Studio Series. Anyways, here's Optimus Prime dual-wielded. Anyways, it's time to talk about the Jetpack, featuring the Gatling guns. And of course, there are some differences between the knockoff and the original. That being, the knockoff is a little bit smaller than the original, and there are some extra tweaks to the wings over here, and of course this additional thruster piece, which is removable. To which plugging it onto the Baiwei knockoff is the same as plugging it onto the original. However, the Jetpack does have a little bit more articulation, as with this thing it can move up and down. This can still move from side to side. This piece can also move up and down without pushing this down as well. This is also independently movable, to which it can move up and down. And the entire wing is double jointed, as it can shift backwards and forwards. But honestly, it's just better to have the entire wings folded down, because it looks cooler. And of course, the Gatling guns tab in with zero problems at all. I'm saying that as I jinx myself, because these things require some fiddling to plug in. Anyways, here's both of the Gatling guns plugged in onto the figure. Thankfully, unlike the Studio Series 1, the Gatling guns plug in all the way in. The only issue is the tabs and the slots are too tight, which makes removing them 10 times worse. Now, there is actually a way to integrate the Jetpack onto the back of the Studio Series 38 Optimus Prime mold. But for now, I'm going to be using the Shattered Glass knockoff repaint, because why not? But first, you got to do something, and it is move this back piece down like you would the 32 Optimus Prime mold. And then the interesting thing is that this is going to tab on between right there. Make sure it tabs in. Let's see if we can get it in there. And then make sure that's slide in like so. Only for some reason it's making the attempt to move out. And here you have SS38 Optimus Prime with the Jetwing Optimus's Jetpack. Only the weight of the Jetpack kind of causes this figure to fall down. You could also do this with the original, by the way. I believe there was a way to integrate the Jetpack onto the original 05 Optimus Prime, but I'm not too sure about that. Anyways, here's what the original Studio Series trailer looks like with everything stored. And then here's what the knockoff looks like with all the weapons accessories stored, with the additional Jetpack requiring some assembly, just like this one. I almost forgot to point that out. There is a massive difference between the two, in size and in shape. But yeah, that's pretty much the weapon storage. Anyways, let's move on to articulation. Starting off, we got a ball joint at the head, which allows for an up and a down, and a swivel. Full rotation at the arm. Shoulder pad moves out, which allows a full bend at the shoulder, bend at the elbow, bicep swivel, wrist swivel, waist swivel, legs can spread, leg can move forward. Can't necessarily move far out backwards too much. And then moving the wheels backwards doesn't necessarily help that much. It's the same result. But anyways, bend at the knee. Knee pad moves forward. There is also a knee swivel. And then moving on to the foot can move forward and backwards, and can also rock from side to side. And that's pretty much it for articulation. Now to size comparison. Starting off with the original Studio Series 44 Optimus Prime, the original Studio Series Optimus Prime, the original Studio Series 38 Optimus Prime, and the original Dark of the Moon Deluxe Class Optimus Prime, Baiwei Nemesis Prime, Baiwei Ultra Magnus, Clearamus Prime, Sentinel Prime. Here he is next to Baiwei Ironhide, which is basically the Studio Series Dark of the Moon Ironhide if there were to be a Studio Series Dark of the Moon Ironhide. Here he is next to the original Studio Series Dark of the Moon Ratchet, Bumblebee, Sideswipe, Dino, Bumblebee Movie Wheeljack, can't wait for that Q, Topspin, Roadbuster, Leadfoot, Baiwei Shockwave, Dark of the Moon Leader Class Megatron. Here he is next to the original Trailer Arsenal, and then here he is next to the Baiwei one, Dark of the Moon Voyager Class G1 Repaint Ironhide, and if that wasn't enough, here he is next to the original Dark of the Moon Supreme Class Optimus Prime. Sheesh. And the gang's all here. Well, minus Q, but like I said, can't wait for that Studio Series 1 to finally come to fruition next year. And then after that, I guess all we need is an official Hasbro Studio Series Dark of the Moon Ironhide. Hopefully it's a remold. Anyways, I think it's time we get down to transformation, and I'm not going to showcase the transformation for this figure as I've done it multiple times, so we're just going to skip that transformation and work on this. Of course, remove the accessories, as well as the jetpack. And now, let's work on transforming the trailer, or 75% of it. And as you can see, I've zoomed out the camera for a better view. So starting off, untab these right here, and then move them down. Same thing with the other side. And of course, this will happen where this gets all crazy. Move this upwards. I supposed it would be best if you made the attempt to straighten this out, as it does kind of get annoying. And then of course you're supposed to tab this onto that slot right there. Make sure it plugs in. Same with the other side. Don't forget to move this outwards, which I believe is not all that hard to do. Push this in, make sure it tabs in. Adjust the top part over here to where these two tabs right here will peg into those two slots right there. Once you got this out of the way, you can go ahead and close in the doors. Once you have 75% of the trailer out of the way, move that to the side and we can work on folding this in as well. Fold this down and then untab this piece right here. Make sure it tabs off. It's a little hard to do, but you make sure that untabs and then straighten that out. Untab that and then push it like so. Straighten this out and then fold all of this in. Before you move this over here, you are unfortunately going to have to remove this piece right here, as you will need these two tabs. Anyways, be sure to move this inwards and then make sure that tab pegs into that slot. For some reason they like falling off or untabbing off. I don't know why. Not too sure if I did something wrong on the transformation, but I believe this is what you're supposed to have. After that, we come back to what was 75% of the trailer, and then the other 25%, and then we could just go ahead and plug it on. Now before we do that, in my old review from 2022 of the original Studio Series 44 Optimus Prime, I was unsure of where the original 4 weapons would be stored. But anyways, this is how it's supposed to go, I think, before you close this hollow gap up with this. The only problem now is that since there's more than 4 accessories, not sure where all of them go, so I will be omitting the weapon storage. But anyways, make sure everything tabs into place. Make sure everything is pushed in, as well as a few tabs being properly connected into their slots. And there you go. There's Optimus Prime's trailer. Now, I gotta say, it does look better paint-wise in the alt mode rather than the robot mode, or whatever the other mode is called. The only thing with this is that it's missing some blue right here, and of course the Autobot insignia, but this is a knockoff company, so I suppose they did that to avoid copyright. Although I am aware that upon ordering an item from AliExpress, when it arrives, you can actually get an Autobot or Decepticon sticker, depending on which faction the figure of a character you got came from. Here's the size comparison between the knockoff and the original. As you can see, the knockoff is much bigger than the original. I suppose that's a way of being more size accurate, which apparently is something this didn't succeed in doing. Interesting. And then real quick, let's take a look at what Baiwei 1022 Star Leader looks like in his alternate mode. And you know what? Doesn't look bad. The painting and sculpting, pretty good. However, there is a shade of yellow missing around the front of the truck. But anyways, here's a comparison between him and the original Studio Series 44 Optimus Prime. And now to assemble, all you do is just plug it in like you would a normal truck. Except for some reason it takes a little bit of fiddling to do, but it will plug in. And there you go. There's Baiwei Optimus Prime with his trailer. Now, I gotta say, this looks way much more accurate than how the Studio Series 44 Optimus Prime did it. But I understand that Hasbro may have been on a tight budget when producing that figure, so yeah. Now, as you can see, the wheels are a little bit bigger than Optimus Prime's wheels. Usually the size of the wheels would be the same, but this is a different pair. Baiwei does give you the option of replacing the new big ones with the old smaller ones. But personally, I prefer the bigger ones because it looks cooler. And besides, I believe it's accurate anyways. And then another accessory that the trailer comes with are these two little pieces right here, that which you simply plug in onto that slot right there. And there you go. There's the trailer standing on its own without Optimus Prime holding it. And if you want, you can also plug in a few accessories onto Optimus Prime, making him look like he's that one striker leader class Dark of the Moon Optimus Prime back in the day. And tell you what, that looks pretty mean, but still cool nonetheless. Anyways, leave a comment down below which one you like more, the original or the knockoff. I think personally, I'd go with the knockoff. And yeah, I think that's pretty much it. I think that's all I had to say for this guy. Overall, pretty great. And well worth it. If you want to get him, you can find some good deals on AliExpress. Should cost somewhere around $70, which is kind of a lot. Or at least that's how much I got it for. With the knockoff and the weapons accessory pack, I got it in a bundle, which costed about a good $25, as well as the trailer being $44. So with those two prices, plus a combined total of shipping and taxes was right around $70. If you weren't able to pick up the buzzworthy reissue of this figure, then I'd highly recommend getting the knockoff. The painting is great, the accessories are great, the alternate mode's great, quality's pretty good too. Well, for my copy, I'm not sure about anyone else's copy. But anyways, if you like what you saw in this video, be sure to slam that like button, share this with your friends as well, turn on post notifications so that way you don't miss another video, and most importantly, be sure to hit that big red subscribe button, and yeah, that's pretty much it. Thanks for watching. See ya! On a side note, yes, I did get the trailer with its box, and unfortunately, it was busted upon arrival. Like, look at this. It looks like someone drove a stick and stabbed it. Yeah, I'm gonna have to throw this out. Pain.